because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncers' gilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Edwardinho, COLM McGuigan from IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I don't know why we've got a million cameras on us. What did you...
It's the story of my life, mate.
Yeah, welcome to Edwards World. Eddie, what did you make of that tonight from Edgar Berlanga?
I thought it was a good performance. I mean, I think he went very quiet in the fight between round 7 and 11. I don't really know what he was doing. He was following Jason Quigley around, who boxed very well, by the way. I mean, was difficult, was awkward, was very smart. But when Edgar let his hands go, he hurt Quigley all the time. I mean, he's very, very heavy-handed. The 12th round was scintillating. I think, was it the second round or third round when he knocked him down? Great knockdown as well. But it just went very quiet, sort of mid to the end of the way through the fight. So, good performance, good 12 rounds after being out for a year, and on we go.
Is it a bit disappointing, though, because you want him to come out? You've said all week about that statement performance, that statement knockout.
Yeah, you always want a knockout, but 3 knockdowns, and a good fight and a good 12 rounds, I'm happy. I would have rather he got the fight done and dusted, halfway through or whatever it was, but also good that he got 12 rounds in. I don't think his coaches were really happy with his output in that back end of the stages of the fight, and the 12th round was perfect. We wanted to see what he did in the 12th round earlier in the fight. So I think against people that are coming forward and coming to try and knock him out, I think you're going to see a different performance.
Kawanaki, Kosomata, what a fight, by the way. Yeah. What did you make of that at the end? Maybe should have been ended a little sooner?
Unbelievable. Look, it's hard at times to watch Adam. Clearly not the fighter that he once was, but he always, not like that, but he always fought a little bit like that, in that he was in war after war, and probably a lot of them have had their toll on him. And Cusimano is a level below, the Helleniuses and the Demetrians that he's been boxing. But every time you thought to pull him out of the fight, it looked like he was coming back in the fight. And you knew, win, lose or draw, that was going to be his last fight tonight, really, I think. So you almost wanted to give him a chance to win the fight. I thought the towel was a little bit late. Maybe it could have been stopped a round earlier. But to be fair, even a round earlier, it looked like it should be stopped. And then the last 30 seconds, he looks like he could stop Cusimano. It was just an unbelievable back and forward. Not a lot of skill, but a lot of heart.
What do you do with Cusimano now?
Yeah, we've got options on him now. I mean, we look to put him in a good fight. I mean, I know you like the Thomas Carty fight. It might be a bit early for Thomas, but Cusimano's probably proved that he's not world level, but he's a decent heavyweight, and I think there's some good fights out there for him.
De La Hoya's tweeted tonight. You've had it back and forth. You've been actually very tame this week. Yeah. You didn't go for him, but tonight you bit. Why?
Look, he's slagging everything off. At the end of the day, he crawled into New York to sign Edgar Berlanga, and they chose me, as you would. I don't really want to go backwards and forwards on Oscar. He spent all week, look at his timeline, tweeting me, which is really great free publicity for me. But I just hope he's okay. And I hope that he can, get well and find happiness.
May it be that you work with Oscar De La Hoya on the Jaime Munguia fight next for Berlanga?
It's got nothing to do with Oscar. It'll be Eric Gomez. I mean, that's who I deal with. We've made loads of fights before, and we could make a fight quite easily. Jaime Munguia against Edgar Berlanga is a tremendous fight.
Is that next for Edgar?
I'd like it to be. Mexico against Puerto Rico. You've got Gennady Golovkin, you've got John Ryder, you've got Billy Joe Saunders. But they're the guys. You need a guy that's going to come to win on the front foot against Edgar Berlanga, and that's when you're going to see the best of him.
What about Padraig McCrory from Ireland? I know what was thought about before the Jason Quigley one.
He's going to be the opponent tonight. I think one of the problems with Padraig is his profile. He's actually a very good fighter, but not a lot of people have heard of him. And sometimes you get criticised for making a fight like that, even though it's a really good fight. And he was going to be the guy tonight, but Quigley's actually got a much bigger profile than Padraig McCrory, even though he's undefeated. So we went with Quigley. McCrory was on the list, maybe in the future, but I think we need a big name now, big profile name. And obviously now looking to beef up that schedule in the back end of the year, Edgar Berlanga will be a big part of that.
When will we get the DAZN schedule? I know it's something you've been working on all week.
It's very unusual to give you a schedule from August to December, but that's what we're trying to do. Obviously, right now, the priority is the AJ fight, but we would like to announce as much of the schedule from August to December as we can. And that could include, obviously, Taylor Cameron, maybe Berlanga against Munguia, maybe even Joshua Wilder, maybe Joshua coming up on August the 12th, Lee Wood against Josh Warrington, Joe Caldina maybe in a unification. There's loads of stuff we've got planned, but we've just got to nail it now.
Where are we at with AJ Whyte?
He's got the contract. Obviously, I'm not expecting him to come back today. Well, it'd be nice, but they need to review it and they need to come back really in 24, 48 hours. We've got 2 other fighters ready to go. We'd love it to be Dillian. I have my doubts, but if they want the fight, it's there.
Final one from me. Looking forward next week to Dalton Smith, Sam Maxwell. How do you think that goes?
It's a really good fight. I think it's a very tough fight for Dalton Smith. You know, you see a lot of fighters with a lot of height, but they're fighting good level opposition. You know, Zarilla, Quigley, these guys can fight. And Sam Maxwell's another example. Those boys shared a lot of time on Team GB together, and it's a very good domestic fight.
Edward, thanks.
Eddie, I've got you here. On
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,